Hi, everybody. Just a moment. Bill will connect in a minute or maybe in 5 minutes because he has a trip today. So he will just show up for half an hour or so. But today is a very important class. I know we say every day that it is very important, but really these ideas that you will hear today are crucial for your future, because this is not your last day with these teachings, and you need to understand what can go wrong and how to do some prophylaxis of it, how to stop it, and what are the worst things you can do to other people. What is the worst karma to create? Okay, so let me make sure Bill has the link. Let's start with the motivation. Sit up straight, close your eyes, and think about your life. Think about your biggest challenge right now. Think about the fact that other people have same challenges, maybe worse than you have. Remember that everything should not be as it is, but you can change it because you are constantly planting new seeds. And make a decision that you dedicate right now. Every second you will listen to this class to change the world to a better place. Make a decision to be a warrior, to put some effort to apply these teachings to your life. And then the result will come. And think about how cool it would be if everybody could do the same thing. Plant seeds, help other people to change the world. Open your eyes. Okay. Artyom, please take a look time to time and connect Bill when he will show up, okay? Okay. Do we have slides? So it's a beautiful class because it's like it reminds me, I was working for 15 years in clinical trials, and I was working first for the best companies, like literally the best of the best. And then in 2015, I had an idea that I should move to France, and I found a job. And we can stop for a couple minutes slides. I was thinking that I found a job, and I didn't know that time yet that the company has like quite funny reputation in France. I was totally how to say, naive, and honestly, as the result, received a very challenging experience working for the company. And I was thinking, wow, now I know what is the best in the industry and what is the worst in the industry. Because sometimes you do not realize you are not competent enough in what you're doing if you have no idea about what can be the other extreme, right? So, and after that, I lost fear because I was like, okay, as long as it's not that bad, I'm okay. I will never be stressed out again, whatever happens. And I really wasn't. I left the company, did not work for a long time there, but the experience was amazing because instead of having like just upper understanding of where to go, like I received the bottom also, and then okay, this is the high end, this is the lower end. As long as I'm not here, I'm okay. And I became really relaxed. Was never stressed again in my job. So today is the class. Like you will find where this bottom is, like where you can, you should never ever, the bottom you should never touch, right? And what will happen if you do, and what happened to other people who did. And it is about, we can go with the first slide. It's about 5 immediate deeds. And immediate, some people, they misunderstand. They think that it means that as soon as you do it, then you don't even have bardo. You just go after your death. You go straight into this other rebirth. But actually, people do have bardo after that. It does not happen like right after we die. So what are these 5 immediate misdeeds? Traditional order is killing your mother first, then killing your father, then killing an enemy destroyer, then we can talk about this, creating a split in the Sangha or in community, and drawing a Buddha's blood with evil intent. I know it sounds strange. Let me explain what it means. So let's go back. Why these immediate deeds are important? First, because not only you are going to hell, and it's a separate subject about hell realms. Why you can you be convince yourself? Can you draw some logic why hell realms exist? Because it's difficult to talk about these subjects. I remember I was told by some Christians when I was a child. I don't remember who it was. Maybe my grandmother. But I was told that, oh, you will go to hell if you will lie or steal or something. And I was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But I think everybody, even you, if you do not travel much, I think everybody could relate that even on this planet, there are very different places, and people live totally differently in these places. Like even now I can see translators, and I can see Italian translator. Maria is probably in Italy, right? I can see Oля Karaseva translating into French. I know she's in Paris. Then I can see Aygul, she's in Turkey. Maria, she's in Kiev, right? All of these are very different places. Even if you just leave your city and go in the village, like life is different there. I mean, not crazy different, but there is some difference, right? I'm not talking about like my husband. I don't know if he's connected. He probably will in a moment. He is flying his airplanes, right? For me, it's a miracle still. I mean, you come into a box, let's say, called airplane in one place, then airplane, 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 then you go out, boom, different place, right? Like it's a miracle. It's like a portal or something. Like you can think about it. Then okay, so places are different. They're not the same. Why are they different? We say because of our karma. It ripens, and you know already that it produces several results. One of them is environmental result. You see different place, like I am in Las Vegas right now. It's different from any place you are, I guess, right? Can you do something? No, let me phrase this way. Like why some places are better and some places are worse, right? We've been to India, like obviously people, most of people in India are very poor. It is different from what I see in America. And in these teachings, they say karma, right? Because if you have more generosity, then you will be born like there is a sutra called All Kinds of Karma, where Buddha Shakyamuni talks about different kinds of karma. And it's there that if you are generous, basically, then you are born in a wealthier layers of society or countries. If you are not generous, then the other type of countries, poor levels of society. So I know that it looks like India is poor because the British Empire exhausted the wealth, right? I mean, it's true at some level. As a fact, it's true. But where this thing that some countries are exploiting other countries comes from, right? Why do I see that it happens, right? If I would have only seeds of generosity, then it would be impossible for me to see any poor country at all, right? And this is not now the topic of the class, but we confuse after and because. If India became poor after somebody exhausted resources, which probably they did not exhaust all the resources, right? I spent in India over 1 month. I mean, the soil is crazy fertile. I mean, just out of agriculture, you could be very wealthy. So what I was talking about, that we think that if something happens after something, there is a connection, cause and effect, and there is no connection, because could a country be wealthy in resources but people poor? You tell me. Just a moment. Yeah, of course, you have to clean exactly at the time of the class. Okay, so yeah, everything comes from what we have done in the past to other people, and you can do something great, you can do something harmful, and the results will be different, right? Because good virtuous thing, right, or good thing that brings us merit is when we do something to other people that brings us good results. There is no morality like that is not connected to the results in these teachings. So, okay, different countries, because we do different things, and don't blame yourself. You even do not remember what you have done to be where you are. But that's a fact that we can do different things, and obviously can bring different results, right? Yeah, like Maria writes that the richest people on the planet are also in India, right? It's not for everybody. Karma is individual. There is no such a thing as collective karma, actually, if you will think about it. There are people who were jumping out of windows during the Great Depression. There were people who made millions on the Great Depression, right? Okay, so what happens if somebody does this immediate misdeed and they go to hell? Basically, in these 5 cases, they go every time to the lowest hell. Lowest possible is called Avicii. And it means non-stop suffering. Like there are in ACI 8, you have a lot of information about different realms, different worlds where you can get after you die. And there are different types of hell realms, but the worst one, the lowest one, is called Avicii, non-stop suffering, meaning why non-stop? As humans, we cannot go beyond some kind of pain. We do not appreciate it, but actually you cannot feel more pain than up to some level. Then you lose consciousness, right? So in hell realms, your body is built in a way that you do not lose consciousness. You continue to feel the pain, even it goes beyond everything possible. So it's a bad thing, right, to get there in 2 words. And also they say that you stay there for an eon. Eon or a kalpa. For a great, I think it's a great eon. And to be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure myself what exactly an eon means, but I will explain you how they talk about this eon. So they say that any world, once it is created, has like this new beings in this world. They are extremely pure. They live up to 80,000 years. Actually, in the beginning, even beyond, like really long. And people who read the Bible, probably you can find something very similar from it, right? So they live long, then they start doing bad deeds, and their body gets less subtle, more physical, and they start to experience more sufferings. And then what happens? There is some kind of disaster, like their lifespan goes from 80,000 and more to average 10 years, 10 years old, average, not everybody, right? Average. And then there is a disaster. Their bad deeds are so bad that they do something horrible, like, I don't know, like a nuclear disaster or something. And after that, most people die. There are a few of them that are left, and they are horrified with what happened. And they make a decision that they will be extremely pure, very ethical. And then the lifespan goes up again. So this time between when people, they live 80,000, then it drops to 10,000 and then goes up again. This is called an eon. And in the lowest health, you are like 4 eons there. Can you imagine? It's like billions of years, probably more, probably trillions. I even do not know such numbers. It's long, it's very long. The issue with health also that it feels, the time feels different there, like slow. Time in health is very slow. So this is what can happen because of 5 misdeeds, 5 immediate deeds. Somebody was asking Geshe Michael in the class, I think it is important to say, like, okay, why the Buddha Shakyamuni, okay, no, let me go after for this. Somebody asks Geshe Michael, what about if somebody was born from one mom, but brought by another mom, right? So educated, etc., adopted. And they're pretty clear that it is like the immediate misdeed will be with a physical mom, not with the one who raised. Why? Because basically, what is the reason why these misdeeds are so bad? The reason is that you are given opportunities to get enlightened within even one lifetime if you really practice well, and you refuse this rare opportunity from which like all living beings would benefit. This is what it makes it such a bad deed. Like, and physical body, we do need to reach enlightenment. We could not do it without our physical body, and physical body is given by our mother and father. So this is why killing your mother and father is such a bad deed. Then we have also, I mean, killing a mother who raised a person also is a bad deed, of course, and of course they will also go to hell. So killing mother, killing father are the first ones. Then we have killing an enemy destroyer. Who is the enemy destroyer? It's a person who reached nirvana, right? Because he destroyed his enemies. Who are the enemies? Mainly negative emotions, mental afflictions, anger, jealousy, ignorance, and this is why it's such a bad deed, because mainly they are working to help people and keep teachings, etc. And this is the third immediate misdeed. Then can theoretically you make more than one immediate misdeed within one lifetime? Yes. There was such a anti-hero in the history, the son of the king Udrayana, who killed his father because he wanted to become a king himself. And he didn't know that, as my Tibetan teacher would say, Tashi Delek, congratulations. He didn't know he also was an arhat. So he managed to make 2 immediate misdeeds within one lifetime. Then the fourth one is, was it the fourth one? Killing mother, killing father. Split in the Sangha.
Мам, можна одну цукерку?
We have today lots of distractions. So then splitting the Sangha, right? And drawing Buddha's blood with an evil intention. Why they do not say kill the Buddha? Because it is impossible to kill the Buddha. He can pretend that he is killed, but it's literally impossible. And there was a guy, cousin of the Buddha Shakyamuni, our historical Buddha, who tried to kill him. He was a funny guy. He remembered every single teacher by the Buddha Shakyamuni. He was a very good monk. Remembered every teaching, didn't get anything, didn't understand a thing. So he is famous for making the worst out of all the immediate misdeeds, splitting the Sangha, and also for trying to kill the Buddha, because he had an idea that he will replace him, he will be a Buddha himself. At one of Lamrim teachings, Geshe Michael was telling the story in details, like he had this evil king he partnered with, and they had a plan, like they will be shooting big rocks in the area where the Buddha was teaching, and then they will make like a tattoo, of the wheels of Dharma on the palms of the Devadatta's hands, like the Buddha Shakyamuni had. And one of the stones actually hit the Buddha, and there was some blood coming out, and this is why drawing the blood of the Buddha with the evil intent. I mean, if you don't know who the Buddhas are, and by chance you are a nurse and you will be taking their blood with a good intent, you will not do this misdeed. Another thing is I remember people were asking Geshe Michael, why we do not see enlightened beings? I mean, if they can emanate effortlessly, then why can't we see them? Like, we would see this is the Buddha, okay, we do not do anything bad. And he said basically because we have this seed that is obstructing us from seeing enlightened beings and from understanding who they really are. So when we walk on this path, at some point we can get rid of these seeds, and we will see the reality differently. Even I mean, you can see it. Different people, they see other people in a different way. Somebody likes you, somebody does not like you, right? A very famous story was about Buddha Shakyamuni servant who served him for 12 years. His name was Leka. Didn't see anything unusual in Buddha, nothing special. When he was asked, like, oh, you're serving such a great person, how is it? He said, nothing special, pretty greedy guy, everywhere wants money, except probably the light that is coming out of his body. This is a little bit unusual. So we have this tendency to see cool things as normal, right? Like people are flying airplanes. for me, it's a miracle every time. You are in a, I don't know, 50, 100 tons of metal flying in the sky on your seat, warm, fed, and you're complaining that it's noisy or something else. Okay, so we talked about enemy destroyers. We can go back to our slides. We talked about drawing the blood from the Buddha. We talked about the fact that you will be reborn in the lowest hell if you happen to do so. Why these deeds are called yeah, that's fine. While these deeds are called immediate, because there is no other rebirth between our current rebirth in the other one that we will have to take on in case we will do these misdeeds. And yeah, and if you do the worst, like schism of community, then you go to the lowest hell. Basically, all of them will lead to the hell realms, just a little bit better than the worst one. So, yeah. Also, we were talking, and because of the alarm didn't finish the description of the great eon, right? The great eon consists of 4 smaller eons, and every single one of them consists of 20 smaller eons, or I think they're also called kalpas. And at this level, ACI 5, we do not really talk about it, but just you to know that any universe is formed in a similar way. Many processes are similar, like every coming of the Buddha is similar, like there are some rules when they can come, when they cannot come. And it is related to this rhythm of the universe. Like universe literally is being born. There is an eon of formation. Then there is an intermediate eon. There is an eon of destruction when it is destroyed. And one more eon when nothing happens. There are historical patterns, and for example, I don't know if you heard it already, all the Buddhists were speaking in Sanskrit, every single one of them. It is related to the fact that Sanskrit is a magical language. Our body speaks Sanskrit. Basically, the sounds of Sanskrit are recorded in our body because this is the sound with which the energy flows through our channels and through chakras, etc. So no wonder they all speak the same language, right? There are other historical patterns, like when the split can be possible when the Buddha comes. Also, there is a pattern, and it's never when the lifespan is growing in humans. It is always when it is decreasing. It is decreasing from 80,000 years to 10,000 years. So when it is decreasing, they can come, because people, they see suffering, they see everything degrading. They are motivated to do something with their life. Imagine everything is going better, like lifespan goes up, like everything goes well, you're getting younger every year. How interested you would be in these teachings? So we need have some kind of renunciation to walk this path. Otherwise, we do not act, we do not take actions. So the pattern for the Buddha to come is when the lifespan is going down, and it is about 100 years, more or less. So this is why we have seen Buddha Shakyamuni coming on this planet, because it was going down and the average was about 100 years. Then next slide, probably. Okay, yeah, we can stop slides for a moment. So there are 5 immediate misdeeds. Out of them, which one is the worst? Maybe you think killing an arhat or drawing the blood from the Buddha. No, the worst one is the schism in the community, or splitting the Sangha, in other words. It happens almost with every community. Fortunately, the good thing about this one is you cannot commit this one, because there are rules, circumstances under which this split can really happen. It's a very bad thing. It is affecting the whole planet on which it happened, and during this split, nobody can really meditate. Nobody can get any realization on emptiness. All the spiritual growth of the whole planet is stopped. It's a very bad deed. So we cannot really make this one. It was done by Devadatta, the famous cousin of the Buddha, and he ended up in this lowest hell. There's a whole beautiful story about it, what happened next. So actually, he has done it. There is a special profile of a person who can do this split. And the warning here is that despite we cannot really split the historical Sangha, we can hurt ourselves badly. I mean badly. By doing something similar to existing communities where people study what we study with our community, right? So what is the profile? Who can really make this horrible thing happen? And I remember when I read it, I was like, it actually very similar to me, right? So, okay, of course, in the original community, it should be a full monk, right? We are not monks and nuns here. Most of us are not. There are some monks and nuns in our teachings, but not here at this class, I believe, unless you are. So it should be a good monk keeping his vows, his or her vows. People, they see that they follow their morality, and they are sharp. They are not stupid. They are intellectuals. Like Devadatta, he remembered word by word every single teaching of the Buddha. Does not mean anything, because he didn't draw right conclusions out of it, tried to kill him, tried to hurt him, made the split in the Sangha. And this guy, who is a full monk, well-behaved, moral, sharp and intelligent, manages to divide the original community of the Buddha of the community that did not see emptiness directly. Of course, you cannot do it to a realized being, right? Like an Arya. So he is basically saying something stupid to the community, and the community splits into half. Like half still want to follow the Buddha, and half they are confused by this guy. And this happens in the period when Buddha is not directly present. He was somewhere. He was away for a while. So why this guy splits the community? That's a good question. I can stop slides. I think part of the problem is that people may be attracted to the information more than to practice of these teachings, and it creates so-called, we call them dharma monsters, right? People who know every point of the teachings perfectly, never tried to behave like that, right? So if you feel that you are more attracted to information than to practice, then maybe be careful, right? That you do not want to get the results of this schism. And it's true, we cannot really make this kind of immediate misdeed. Oh, Tashedelek. Hello, my love.
Привет, дорогая. Как жизнь?
I am exactly talking about the schism in the Sangha. I mean, we cannot really make it, but we can come really close, and it's very, the results are horrible. People who have done it, they usually, even this lifetime, they have very bad health issues, right? You heard Bill talking about it yesterday.
Frankly, the example I was using yesterday was somebody who simply got, I guess there was a bit of a schism because the person who I was talking about yesterday, he did have a lot of students. I think like 100. He was quite influential. And I think all of those students are gone, which is that I know of. And then, but there was I mean, frankly, there was another incident in the Sangha, and the two people who were involved with that, I mean, one of them only lived a few more years before they died, and the other one nearly died and is gone. And it, Geshe Michael's not the historical Buddha, but I mean, personally, I'm convinced he's an Arya. And you can look at the work he's done. All you have to do is look at the work that he's done. Like how many pages of translations has he done? Like way more than Jason Kappa, right? Like, is he up to 30,000?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think the books he's writing or translating now, and he calls them footnotes, but it's basically a commentary on these works. I think it's historically as significant as the New Testament, frankly, because it may be, I think it's historically significant. And then people came and they created a clear split in the group, and it went horrible for them, horrible. And I mean, like really, like just shocking.
And I think that we need to distinguish. I mean, we have many teachers, right? We have not many, but quite a few ACI teachers. If you teach your group of students, this is not a split of the Sangha. But if you come to, I don't know, Lamrim or something, Geshe Michael teaching there, right? And you say to part of the group, this teaching is not correct. I will tell you what is the teaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a real split. Or you are in a community of another person. It happens. People change teachers. Please do not criticize anybody ever. You can be you can disagree with the deed, with the action. You can fight the action, but never criticize the person in your mind. You don't know who they are and why they're doing what they're doing.
And I've got about 2 minutes before I've got to walk out the door. I've got to go to work today. And there will come a time in your career, particularly, as you go on, where you'll be challenged to disagree with your teacher. And there's always, like the classic example is, the teacher tells 3 students to go rob a bank. And, 2 of them run down and go rob the bank. And the other one says, no, I'm not going to do it. And then the teacher says, well, congratulations, you passed. You're the one who didn't, you weren't dumb enough to go rob the bank.
Yeah,
it's not going to be that easy. I mean, you think, okay, well, I'm going to be the person who knows not to do the obvious wrong thing, and it's never going to be that easy. And so there will come a time, almost certainly, when you have to tell your teachers no. You're always responsible for your own individual actions, but you don't want to do it with anger. You really don't. The mental seeds we're playing with are powerful, right? I mean, things aren't self-existent, but oh my gosh, tell me a broken leg doesn't hurt. Tell me that getting divorced doesn't hurt. Tell me that poverty isn't painful. The seeds produce results.
He also says, it's funny, he says that the better you practice, the more demons are being attracted, like spiritual communities, they attract demons. I mean, you probably do not see other people as demons if you are a normal human being. But at some point, somebody may come and tell you something like mildly unethical, to do with these teachings. And it's funny, Geshe Michael, he says, they may look like people
It's true. I've seen it. I've seen people, if they weren't demons, they functioned like it. And then the damage you can do to people. This is early on, right? We're early in the teachings. It's new to a lot of countries, new to a lot of cultures. And then people don't have a culture that's going to give them confidence in these teachings. And so it's really easy to damage it at this early stage. So be careful. And with that, I've got to go. I've got to get to work. All right. I wanted to check in and say hello to everybody.
Safe flight.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, we'll talk again soon.
It's okay. I will finish the class.
Right.
Okay. So it's interesting because if you will think like this split in the community, how it happened, why it happens, right? For people who are following these teachings, it is very difficult to stay on the same, to stay in line with the enlightened being. And once the Buddha passes, we do not say they died or even they passed. We say passed into the final parinirvana, right? Which I explain you in a second what it means. So students start to corrupt the teachings because they don't have enough goodness to continue purely. Nobody can. And then all these different versions start, all these different religions, all these different sects, right? And it's nice to have, like, the teaching degrades, and it's nice to have a process to clean these teachings, right? Which we do in our lineage. And it's quite depressing because Buddha Shakyamuni himself, he was telling his students how the teachings will degrade, will fade and degrade with the time. Okay, what is his final parinirvana? Of course, an enlightened being does not die, right? What they do, they withdraw their emanation from the planet, because the physical body of the Buddha that we can see, or somebody could see on this planet, is an emanation body. His physical body that is not emanation, enjoyment body, never leaves his paradise. And effortlessly he sends all the emanations to different planets to help living beings if they have karma. So this is why it is important to create a lot of goodness, a lot of ethical behavior, positive seeds, because then you are being helped basically automatically, right? So for people on the planet, the fact that the Buddha withdraws his or her emanation, because the Buddhas are not male or female, right? They can show themselves as male or female, but they are basically both. So they withdraw the emanation not because they do not want, but because people, they have no karma anymore to receive these teachings. Their karma is exhausted. And this is why automatically it is withdrawn. And I think maybe some of you already realized that there was not only one Buddha. Even on this planet, he was like the fourth one, I think. And basically, the eon where we are in is called the fortunate eon because there will be 1,000 Buddhas coming in this eon. Maybe you are the next one, I don't know. So, okay, let's go back to the slides. There are 6 periods when the schism, the splitting of the community is impossible. Imagine Buddha comes to the planet, right? He pretends he is a little guy. He has to grow. He has to pretend he is getting enlightened, because if it's an emanation, he was already enlightened when he was born, right? So, and then he begins to teach. So it is not possible to stop the wheel of the teachings if they did not begin, right? If they did not begun. So it cannot be before the first turning of the wheel, before they say, like, turn the wheel of the Dharma, turn the wheel of the teachings. Cannot be at the end, when he entered already his final nirvana. It cannot happen until there are faults in teachings as far as viewers or followers and their morality. So not for the first 12 years, right? Because they are just brand new, they're excited about these teachings, they are united. Not until there is a great pair, Shariputra and Maud Galyayana, very famous, especially in Hinayana, in Theravada, they talk more about these two guys, both arhats, main followers, main students of the Buddha Shakyamuni, because they will have to reconcile the schism. They need to fix it within 24 hours. Cannot happen after Lord Buddha has passed on, and not until there are separate monastic residences. So in the reading you will get a lot of information what it means. I think I will not stay on this because it's pretty clear in the reading. Let's go to the next slide. So this is important. What makes these misdeeds so bad? Actually, there are two things. First, by this deed, you kind of reject or eliminate objects that are very special because they helped you so much, like granted your human body or path to achieve enlightenment, or because they have exceptional spiritual qualities, like the Buddha and the Arhat, or the Sangha. Also interesting that they call the Sangha, so the community of followers of these teachings, the Dharmakaya of the Buddha. If you remember what it is, the Dharmakaya is actually it has two things inside. Dharmakaya is emptiness of the Buddha, and also it's the mind of the Buddha. So I probably leave on this because just on this fact we probably can talk for one day, and it's not the subject of the class. But think about it, what it means to hurt the body of the Buddha, which is more important. It's worse to create a schism in Sangha than to hurt the physical body of the Buddha, right? So the mental body of the Buddha is more important. Did I miss anything? Let me see. Okay, another question is why there was a split. And this is because the Buddha Shakyamuni himself did the same thing for the previous Buddha. In ACI 13, you will have, I think it was class 1, the whole story of how it happened. There was a monk who started to teach lay people in the city, and the former life of the Buddha Shakyamuni, this guy named Intellect, for the reason, right, very smart, didn't really practice opening his heart and compassion. He started to criticize the monk who was going out in the city to teach lay people. And unfortunately, it appeared to be the previous Buddha. I think his name was Kashyapa. So, and he did it, went to the lowest hell, had difficult time to get out of there because you have to stay there until the karma wears out. And then you kind of see somewhere a door or something like to sneak in, and you get to a little bit better hell, a little bit better hell conditions. And then he had to stay for, like he said, 60 lives as a dog, then horrible human lives. Then he succeeded to get an ordination in one of the monks' communities of the former Buddha. And he was breaking his vows again and again. It was literally a very, very, very difficult path. So this is why he warns us not to do anything like that. And, you know, the time will come. You may see it happen. It will happen, like somebody will start to do something funny. And there are communities that are not splitting, but the most important, I think, to watch my own mind, right? Not to blame other people, but to ask, do I connect people? Do I make them work together, or because of my pride, or I think like I know better or something? Can I split other people, or I work for the community to unite, right? So spiritual activities attract demons, and they may look like a person you know, and they may say something stupid to you, but you might think it's something interesting. You know, be careful, especially when they suggest to do something unethical. The better we'll do, Geshe Michael says, the more chances it will happen. So we will see. Okay. The sign that something goes wrong is the criticism and hatred, right? So these are bad things. Probably we want to avoid. Another thing is how to stop it in the Sangha. And I personally hate the subject, but I will tell. I have to share with you. So in monks community, there is a formal procedure. If you see that some monk is misbehaving and he hurts other monks' spiritual progress and practice, monks communities are very careful. Monks and nuns communities are very careful not to expel anybody, not to kick out. But there is a formal procedure. If it goes really bad, then the abbot has to kick out the monk who is a problem, who is a trouble in the community. And sometimes it happens in lay people community as well. Bill could probably tell you more about it, but many of you know that during the 3-year retreat, we just were talking about it, right? The better you do spiritually, the more demons will come. Congratulations. If something difficult happens to you, then probably maybe it's just bad karma, or maybe you're doing great. I think all the demons want to enter this door today. In the hotel where, I don't know, they have 1,000 probably rooms. My room today is important. Okay, so what happened in the 3-year retreat? The leader of the retreat was kicked out. Geshe Michael was, before he married Veronica, he had another partner, Lama Christie, and she was a leader of the 3-year retreat. And spiritual things, they really attracted, right? And what happened, they had episodes of domestic violence, her and her new husband. When she divorced Geshe Michael, she married a guy who was also going to this 3-year retreat, and they had domestic violence between them. They were asked to leave the retreat. Geshe Michael asked his former wife to leave the retreat. So this is how important it is, right? There are no like my trainer at the gym was joking that at the gym there are no relatives and friends, only competitors for the iron. So in these teachings, relatives, friends doesn't matter, right? If there was a bad thing going between them, they had to leave, and they did. But unfortunately, they didn't go far, and they decided to go on the neighboring mountain to continue their retreat in the cave, and he died in the cave there. So this is what happened, right? And Lama Christie was not allowed to show up in the Diamond Mountain anymore. So the bad thing about splitting the Sangha is you influence a lot of people who may be on their path, right? So if the real schism happens with the historical Buddha, it disrupts the whole planet. And I just want to tell you that sometimes people who you do not expect it from, they do the split in the community. And I mean, you can be a little bit relaxed now, nothing bad happens. Most of you are just newcomers, and maybe you even do not understand what I'm talking about, but you will with the time. When the time will come, I want you to remember what I told you. Do not split people, okay? Even if you see somebody else is doing, just do not support it. Stop the person, ask them not to talk this way, or like send them to go to talk to the teachers, but never criticize in your head also. Because you don't know what's going on actually, right? Okay, I think enough for this subject. But everybody whom I see who was split in the communities, they had very bad ripenings. Okay. So, yeah. Let me see what is the next question real quick. Okay. Yeah. So what is the order of severity and why this is so? The most severe is creating schism in the community due to the fact that it's such a huge disruption for so many people. And the result is being born in the lowest hell. There is a beautiful story about the Buddha Shakyamuni going to this lowest hell to help his cousin Devadatta afterwards. And there is another beautiful story about Buddha Shakyamuni himself, how he got out of this hell when he ended up there, because he was split in the Sangha. Like, he felt this desire to stop sufferings of beings around him, and this is how he was able to leave this lowest hell. Yeah, and why this is so bad? Because they attack directly the Dharma body of the Buddha, stopping people from having realizations, like chaos in the spiritual life of people, for the lens of this whole schism. The second one will be drawing blood from the Buddha with evil intent, and then killing an arhat, an enemy destroyer, and then killing your mother. So the lightest one is to kill your father. So now you know which which one is the easiest. Which, of course, it's a joke, right? I mean, all of them are so bad that. And maybe you will think, okay, I cannot do any single one of them, but you can come really close, right? Because you can be in a country where they allow euthanasia, right? To stop somebody else's life if they are terminally ill or, like, I don't know, terminal stage of cancer or something. And even Geshe Michael says his mom was asking him to kill her because she was having her cancer, and she was really doing bad with bad seizures and lots of pain. I think the thing that people do not realize when they do it, they think they will stop their sufferings. Do you think that sufferings that we have here are the worst? This is the question. And our realm is not built for very bad sufferings. Our body is built for addictions. Like, our body is perfect to have as many addictions as we can. The body in the hell realm is built to have as much pain as it can. So when we think that we will stop somebody else's life, would be good to know where they will be heading afterwards, right? And we know that most of people, they head into lower realms. Buddha Shakyamuni was asked once, how many people will be reborn as humans again? And he picked a piece of sand, like several pieces of sand, and he said, that many comparing to the rest of the sand on the planet, almost none. So be careful. And it looks like it is difficult to decide to kill a person, but nobody was born with this decision. Anybody under the circumstances can come really close to it, right? I mean, imagine that you are in some extreme situation, like if you see that your family is being killed, right? And I don't know, lots of bad things happen nowadays. There are wars, and I mean, you can come really close. So everybody is capable of every single bad did under the circumstances. Never criticize other people. Try to be better yourselves. And Geshe Michael is talking about India in this class, and we've just been there, right? And people, they may be pretty rude to each other when they climb on a bus or something. And the Europeans and Americans, they think like, it's not us, it's like poor third world country. This is why they're like that. You just have never been under the circumstances they are in. This is why. In Denmark, about 20 years ago, there was a study, and they studied why people commit crimes. They realized that most of the crimes were committed by immigrant families. Why? Because they were in very difficult family conditions, like in 2-3 bedroom apartment, you could have like 10-20 people. They didn't have enough food. They didn't have enough, honestly, love. and acceptance in the society. And children from this family were committing crimes. They were unhappy with their life, and anybody can be pushed to the edge, right? So it's not the idea that you can check somebody and then every single person can be pushed to the edge, and then probably they will do something they would never think they will. So it's very important to save other people, how to say, peace of mind, right? Not to see this happening. Exactly. Claudia is writing about school shooting is in America. Like, who does the shooting, right? Usually children that are being expelled from the society, bullied, and they have lots of resentment, and then they do what they do. So we have to be careful. Okay. I think it's funny that Geshe Michael in his original class, he talks about the AIDS, and he talks about the fact why to hurt these teachings is so bad. He said, imagine that you have the only drug, the only sample of the drug for the AIDS on the planet, right? And it's like 1995, probably. He's teaching, he was teaching in 1995, and there was no drug from AIDS. I personally know many people who have AIDS today, and they're fine because the drug was found. I was thinking it's pretty cool that 30 years by, we have the drug already in place. Who knows what will happen in 30 more years. Then again, why people they split the Sangha? Because people think that their opinion is more important than uniting other people, than the unity of the group. And if you will ask yourself, like, am I a stubborn person, who has the opinion? Like, how many of you are stubborn? Almost every single one of us is stubborn. You see, in these teachings, you usually you swim against the society, right? Because the society says that if you are being attacked, you should respond, you should answer, etc. And in these teachings, we do almost everything the opposite way. It feels natural. So every single one of us is capable of it. So be careful when you think that your opinion is more important than unity of other people. Whew. Okay. How not to get close how not to do the split in the Sangha. Never get even close. Like in monks' vows, there is one of the main vows is not to have sex with women, right? So they have the whole bunch of other rules that are acting to protect them from committing this one, the bad one, right? And there will be rules like, do not touch women, right? Do not look into the eyes. Do not do not enter the room where you will be left alone with a lady. Do not spend that much time if this is not your sister, stuff like that. Because if you do not enter the room, then you will not look in the eyes, then you will not touch, then everything else will not happen. This is why. So be careful on the outer concentric circles, not to hit the core. It's not on the homework, but I think it was interesting. There are 5 more like less important, minor immediate misdeeds, but they're big one. That's why Muslim women cover themselves. Probably. I think it's maybe a little bit too much, but it's a concentric circle. Okay, so there are 5 more that you can see in the texts time to time, but they're not on the homework. Like really bad things that you can do, but less important than the immediate misdeeds. And it means that you may have a chance to get another lifetime before you will go to this hells. It's like they're really bad ones, like rape your mother. This is the first one. Then kill a bodhisattva of certainty. It's a bodhisattva, and there are that many lifetimes for him to left, something like that. Kill a high bodhisattva. How do you know who is high, who is not, right? Steal some community of monks, nuns, or students of the teachings property. That's a bad one. Destroy temples, altars, etc., representing these teachings. Just you to know. They are kind of a bit minor. Okay, then next slide. So with these different kinds of deeds, body, speech, and mind, which one of the 3 of them is more serious? And unfortunately, you can see the answer right away. Out of 3 deeds, the deed of that we make with our mind is the worst. Then will it be the next? I think it will be. Let's see. Yeah. Why this is the worst? Because it is related to holding mistaken views. What are the mistaken views? Extreme views. Either I believe that things are self-existent, or I believe that if they are not self-existent, then nothing exists at all, then everything is an illusion and I can do whatever I want, right? These are 2 extreme views that are incorrect. Then to these wrong views, we also have a thing called mistaken morality. In some traditions, like some Christian traditions, they were torturing themselves, their body, right? Exhausting with weeping themselves, exhausting with hunger. There were sects definitely I know in Russia there were sects. I don't know other countries. They would cut their penis out because they believed that it brings evil intentions, and they would believe that they become pure if they do it. In India, there was a tradition that would teach you, of course, mistakenly, that you should meditate a lot, do yoga, and then you should put a trident, and there is a spear on the top, and then if you will you will jump on it and hit the spear, that it will go through your body like such or such way, then it will bring you to nirvana. I mean, totally mistaken, horrible, right? So be careful. People may have this old bad seeds thinking that hurting your body makes you somehow holy. It's not. Totally opposite, right? There are countries where they cut the clitoris out for girls, right? Same. It's mistaken. Doesn't bring anything good. The opposite, totally opposite. Then you think that your own views are great. That's another mistaken idea. And you have their own view that karma does not exist. Let me see if I missed anything. No, I think that's it. So I think that's the end of the class. So I think it's a very beautiful class because you will see things happening. Like the better you will practice, the more challenges will arise. And you don't have to freak out of it. You don't have to be scared. You have to be prepared. And then you will do the right things when the time will come. Okay. So let me see if we have any questions. Yeah. Okay. I don't see questions. I think we can finish. So close your eyes. There was a question about Buddha. I probably missed the question. Can you copy the question? Because I don't see it. Oh, Buddha should the Buddha be in the on the planet in that moment? Okay, that's a great question. Let's forget for a second that we are in the Abhidharma, because this is all Abhidharma. And by the way, this class is totally accepted by the higher schools. Everything that we just went through. So, but let's forget that we are in Abhidharma. If somebody asks you, like, I don't know, let's talk about the elephant in the classroom. Geshe Michael, is he enlightened or not, right? Or is he an Arya or not? Then if you are well educated in ACI courses, you should ask the next question right away. To whom? Because karma is individual, right? I don't know what you see. I literally don't know. But what I know for sure, if you really walk this path, then you will see people differently. You will see even people in your past from a totally different perspective. You will see them as, you will suspect maybe they are not whom they pretended to be or who I was seeing. So, is there a Buddha on the planet? The normal, usual answer for normal people is no, because we don't see one. We knew that there was one historical Buddha, but from the higher teachings, you have to say you don't know, right? Because maybe you do not have seeds to see that they are, right? Because you still have this tripa, this seeds that obstruct you from, that block you from seeing something really holy. So I think that will be the answer. Okay, and one more answer. Don't all religions do that? I know one that was Jehovah Witness, and she wanted to leave, and it was difficult. Nobody would talk to her afterwards. No, it's not about somebody wanting to leave the community. It's what we were talking about is the opposite. A person want to stay in the community. They just destroy the community. They teach other monks or like students something immoral, and they convince that it's a good thing, and or they say that, okay, teacher in this community is such and such criticized, right? It's the opposite. Here, I do not believe I know a community like ours that keeps people forcibly inside. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It means that the leader of the community does not understand the teachings if somebody keeps other people. So to summarize, in our tradition, you are prohibited of doing that. You are prohibited to be a missionary, to convince people. You can work only with one person, with you. That's it. Okay, close your eyes, sit up straight. Think about the fact that you have just you have listened to 1.5 hour class, and make a decision that maybe you don't know how, but you will implement these teachings in your life and dedicate them to see this planet totally changing, to be able not only to see enlightened beings, but to see that nobody is getting sick, old, nobody has to die, and people, they reach the highest spiritual realizations. And it all starts with you, because you work on yourself. Go back to your breathing, open your eyes. We have one more class left. And we will also schedule, we are missing classes, class 11 for ACI 3 and 4. We will schedule after we will be done with ACI 5. If you are in Europe, we will fly to London next month. Probably will be there like around 15, 16 definitely, and maybe a couple days around it. So you're welcome to come to see us in London. Our dear friend Olga Fitzgerald is with her team teaches ACI 1 there. We will go to support their efforts, and we also will be teaching couple classes, probably 9 and 10. Okay, thank you everybody. See you. Thank you translators. Thank you technical team.